Ooh, we back in the building, y'all. Welcome to Ivy Knows Best. That was a crazy ass intro, wasn't it? Ooh. Now look, today we're joined with two special guests. Okay, we're joined obviously with Super Villain Kush himself.
It's one. He's not a guest.
Oh, he's not. I mean, he's two.
He
He is.
he forced his way up in here.
Hey, it don't matter.
You
You
know
know, he
how he
changed.
get the acting.
Hey, he changed the whole complexion of the episode, though. You know what I'm saying? So, luckily for him, maybe it's some week. God might have a different way of making us work on certain things. So let's shout out not only the super villain Kush, but also the super villain Junior Jax himself here. Welcome to the building, gentlemen. How y'all feeling?
We doing all right. Say, hey, how you feeling? The other one said bad.
Right. Hey, you know what? That's why I said we had two guests. We got Jax and we got the other super villain Junior himself too. So we got two of them. Now listen, this fits perfectly into what our episode is. My kids are here with me, obviously. We hear my feng shui, gonna fill it out. Y'all get it anyway. Don't worry about it. You'll never understand it. Well, what's understood though is that parenting, from a father's perspective, is what our episode's about today, right? So right now, obviously, we see Supervillain Kush doing his thing on the father and tips. So congratulations and thank you for doing what you do, sir. But I think a lot of people do take for granted the importance of the role that we play, right?
Mm-hmm.
How hard you go for your children is very important. So this is a tip. This show today is going to be really about the young fathers more than us seasoned fathers. And when I mean seasoned, I mean those of us who've done it more than once. Right, your first kid is your rookie season when it comes down to children, and you are gonna fuck up royally. Okay, you gonna fuck up. That your oldest kid is normally like your partner. That's kind of how that goes, because it's normally like the kid who either grew up with you or you tried all the bullshit on. All right, you tried out all the little shit on and it didn't work, or it did work. So, so shout out to all the fathers who are doing that. Chris, how does that feel for you? I mean, do you agree with that? With your first kid, how were you versus how you are obviously with the little man in your lap right now?
I have way more patience for him than I had for the first one. First one used to drive me crazy. Him, I can sit through him crying until he give up.
Right. He's like, y'all see this candy? All right. So, no, you're right. That happens, right? That happens a lot. I think with my 15-year-old, it's a little different because I raised her ever since she was 2. Right. She's not biologically mine. So I really got a lot of my trials of parenting out of the way with that. You know what I mean? With the oldest child. So what I end up doing and what I end up working on the most was just kind of figuring out what I did wrong there, because me and her, we like partners for real. Like my oldest daughter covering, Dad, I don't want to do that, and I'm gonna say, okay, cool, right? The other 3, they're downstairs right now, chilling, watching TV. If I was to go over there right now and be like, hey, what do y'all think y'all finna do? Well, Dad, I'm not doing that. That's not flying. That's not flying. You know what I mean? Well, how could she tell you that? Well, she could tell me that because me and her grew up together. You know what I'm saying? Essentially, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I was just really practicing some shit and seeing what stuck to the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then I realized, holy shit, and that's really and that's what I say about a lot of the older children. A lot of older children sometimes, and you're one of the oldest. You're an oldest child, obviously. I don't mean to put your personal business out there. Like me, I'm the third. It's 3. I'm 3 or 5 on my mother's side. So a lot of times when my mother tried out stuff, she tried it on my older sister first, and then my older brother. So by the time it became my turn, I got like a whole different version of that. But it was still similar, because when she was trying out the other shit, she had to show me that, okay, nigga, this could be you too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I could never escape what my mother was doing.
That was something I used to be mad at. We used to get, with the older kids, we used to get whoopings. Then when you get to the middle ones, they ain't even get whoopings no more. They just talking to them. Like, that's not the same thing you did with me.
You know what's funny? It makes you want to be like, I should whoop this little nigga right now myself, because you didn't do it. Right? So like, shout out to my parents, man. My parents did a phenomenal job. And I still have a sister who's 15. So I feel like my parents are still doing a phenomenal job with her. But what we start seeing a lot more of is parenting, especially with fathers, is a lot different. Not only due to my daughters versus my sons, but mainly because in today's society, you can't whoop your kids in public. My mom pulled a belt off of a mannequin one day and tore my happy ass up and put it back like nothing happened. All right, that's because I was cutting the damn food. My mom was like, "I got something for you. Let me show you something special, son. I got a little trick to make you forget all about McDonald's." Mm-hmm. Got my little happy ass toe up. So I really kind of feel like, times change. That's the first part. You really can't parent the same way we used to parent, right? Like my oldest daughter's, "Oh, Dad, you don't whoop us no more." "No, I don't whoop y'all no more." For what? You don't listen. The only person who's relegated to whoopings is my son. And the reason why I say that is because, not only is he a male, but if I'm going to spank you, when I say whoop, for all those "don't hit your child" people, I'm talking about spanking my child. I live in a state of Texas where you can use corporal discipline to discipline your child, just within reason, right? Even with him, it has to be something super serious for me to whoop him. You know what I mean? Like I'm not, I'm not gonna whoop.
It got to be like something immoral.
Man, you gotta be tripping. Like I was gonna stab the kids on the playground, Dad. Probably whoop you. I called my teacher a funky bitch. Did she stink, son? No. Would she just get on your nerves? Oh, you need a whooping then. Your ass tripping. Like, you don't disrespect nobody. But people kind of get to this point now. Go ahead.
I believe in stripping all freedoms, though. You'll sit in an empty room with just 4 walls for however long it take for you to get it right.
And now my thing is this: depends on what you do, though. Depends on what you do, right? So hypothetically speaking, this is just me. If I take away everything in your room, only thing that's in that piece is a bed, some cover. You can make your bed, all that other nice shit. You still got your windows. You still got all that. You just don't got no phone. You don't got no TV. You don't got nothing. You might have a Bible in your room. Get close to God. Okay? Entertain yourself that way. All right? If it's something like we're saying, something that was immoral, like not grades, I got to set a parameter for how long that lasts. Like, okay, that 4 days. For the next 4 days or probably the weekend, whatever the case is, I'm going to take you nowhere. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. You just in your room. That's it. But if it's your grades, bro, you can control that timeline. If like how long? Well, Dad, how long I'm gonna go without my phone? How long is it gonna take for you not to be stupid no more? How long is it gonna take? And I'm like a superior threatening dad too. Like I make shit up like that ain't even possible. I'm gonna jump out this window with you. What? Fuck. What? The threat sounds more severe than what I actually do. You know what I mean? So
I already know.
I think a lot of fathers.
I think Kai done probably figured it out. He ain't did none of the shit he said he was going to do.
He told me he was gonna tie my toes together and tickle me till I died. I ain't dead, and he ain't tied no toes together. So I think he might just be telling us. He just might be trying to scare me.
I know I done made all kind of threats.
Hey, the best threats in the world, though. I said this, and it's
I done made threats to if they was recorded with no audio and no evidence that it never happened, that'd probably kick my door.
With no video footage, all his audio. Yeah, we're here from Mr. Cushenberry.
He's gonna what? He's gonna put his foot where? Oh my God!
Hey, and I think, like I said, there's parents who understand this part of it, right? So I said this the other day. My son was cutting up. I said, "Son, luckily for you and me, I wore ankle socks today, right? So that when I break my foot off in your ass, I don't get my whole ankle dirty, my sock dirty, right?" Imagine hearing that. Imagine being the person like, "What the fuck?" So he wore a specified sock to kick his son in the ass. Like, yes, sir, I did. Okay, I did do that. Okay, and I bet you my son got some act records. Here's my thing: I'm not going to allow y'all, and by y'all I mean the people out there who aren't parenting these children. I'm a black father. If you can't tell, my skin is black. My children are black. Their mother is black. Right. So we know for a fact what the system does to our children. Right. and sometimes how our children are viewed. I know people who aren't of that color. I don't want to hear this. I'd rather discipline my children before I let you lock my kids up. Because if my kids don't listen now, they're going to listen when they in the state of Texas. 17 is the gray line between adult and child. I mean, adult and adolescent. So if I legitimately don't break my foot off in my son's ass before he's 17, you gonna break your legal foot off in his ass when he'll be doing 17.
Yeah.
I'd rather you be mad at me for keeping his dumb ass. Not saying my son is dumb if he is creating, and I have a very smart child who I'm super proud of. If I don't break my foot off in my child's ass, physically or verbally, in some kind of way, I don't discipline my child, you will discipline my child in a way in which he's locked in a room with another person who may or may not be a lot worse than he is, whose intentions may not necessarily deem that he needs to be there. He needs to be somewhere else. I don't want my son's life to end like that or end up being like that. I don't think a lot of parents do. Same thing with my daughters. I always teach my daughters, it ain't about needing a man and none of that shit. I want you to take care of yourself first. And whenever a husband does come into your life, you're already prepared. You're a prepared woman. Now, at the same time, I don't want you making the same mistakes I don't want my son making. I don't want you out here selling your body, because here's the thing about it. The consequences for our women are different from the consequences with our sons. A lot of people don't want to believe that because they're into whatever they're into. I'm a firm believer that you're going to have a different problem. You can have different problems and different consequences for your daughters not panning out a certain way, and your son, if for your sons not panning out a certain way. You just got to know what you're willing to take.
I thought this was the part where you was finna start dropping numbers.
Oh, y'all want that? y'all want me to start doing that?
No, you good at the numbers.
I am the numbers god. That and the lavish Lord. It's both. You know what I mean? So, but I tell people, man, the craziest thing that I've seen as of late, and I think it's fucking nuts. All right. There's a guy who actually just recently assaulted a 17-year-old, right, for being with his daughter, right? His daughter's of age, I believe, around the same age group, or whatever the case may be, or maybe within 1 or 2 years. And he was looking for his daughter, couldn't find her, and when he did find her, he assaulted the 17-year-old boy, beat his ass, and shot a gun at him. I say free that man as a father with a daughter. But I also say, at the same time, with a father that has a son, sir, discipline your daughter, because you can't stop her from doing what she's going to do anyway. We've all been 16, 17 years old. So long as your daughter 9 and 10, and that's the case, like if your daughter is a teenager, and I'm not sure if I got all the facts of the story, I'm just going off what I saw here. If what the story is reporting is correct, your daughter's a teenager making a choice to be around other teenagers. That's what's happening. That's happening.
You know, a lot of when it comes to that species, a lot of people don't fault them for their actions.
We need to change that shit right now, because I'm gonna be real with you. You see that little individual you have right there in your arms, right? That's your son. It don't matter what I think as a father of daughters or any other father of daughters thinks. That's always going to be your son, and how you react with him and for him is going to be appropriate to how you feel about your child, right? So even if I don't necessarily like the fact that he's with my daughter, me assaulting your child is never going to be the answer for you, because that's still your child. You know what I mean? So it behooves me and everyone involved to discipline their child to a point where their child knows that, okay, the consequences are going to be suffered by me, not you. Right? Now, I have a daughter who's 11, about to be 12. If my 12-year-old daughter, Lord forbid, finds herself out with a 15, 16-year-old boy, you know for a fact I'm smacking me a child. I don't care how long y'all put me in. Smack shit out that little nigga.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
How old did she tell you she was? Oh, for real? I'm gonna smack her. Now go get that. Go on now. Go on somewhere. Now, if you 17, 18, nigga, you doing what the fuck you want to do anyway. Let's keep it real. You snuck out of my house to go fuck with that. Now, I also said this. Look, this is crazy. I have a friend who said he was hooking up with this chick. We were talking, and I was like, all right, cool, bro. How old is this female? He said, oh, man, she's like 23, 24. She works for the school, this and the third. I said, what school she work for? He said, this high school. I said, nigga, that's not, that's a student. Nah, no, it's not. She's one, she pulled up, I had to pull up in the truck, and, she hopped in, we hooked up, woo, woo, woo. I said, when was this? He was like, it's like 7 a.m. I said, that don't sound preschool hours to you? All right. I was like, name a teacher. Normal teachers are at school before the time that the children start showing up. They're probably there for about an hour or two prior to the kids, right? They're setting up their lesson plans that they probably finished up the day before. They're setting up their classroom, making sure they're there. I've never seen a student and a teacher show up at the same time, and it just makes sense. No. So look, you're probably fucking with a student. Nah, man, no, man. I'm sure she is. So here in Texas, the students just recently started graduating high school, right? End of May, school just ended. And I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this person. He sends me her TikTok. And when I see her TikTok, it shows her with a graduation cap and gown. 2 posts prior to that, it showed her going to prom.
How he didn't see this?
Well, he said when he saw it, that's when he sent it to me. He's like, bro, you're right. I was like, yeah, I know. Sick, cold world. You better not tell nobody else. You better not tell nobody else.
I hope that nobody zero in on this and be able to figure it out.
I don't know what the hell y'all was talking about. I met that person. Damn, I don't know nothing. But like,
man.
And from hearing it, right? Like, so when you hear it, my thing is like, where's your parents at, little girl? And luckily, chick was 18. But where your parents at? Where's your parents? Because if I'm putting you on the same level as I'm putting someone else, right? When it comes down to responsibility for how and what you do, I'm going to be expecting you to be honest about your age, because my homeboy is 31.
And just for the record, if somebody say they work for the school, mostly on all schools' websites, they have all their faculty. I'm just saying.
Bro, I said, my daughter goes to that same school. I can ask her, is there a teacher named this or that? And she'll be like, I don't know. Like, if she's seen it, if at least in her grade, she can tell you who's what.
Man, most schools, you could just go type in the school, go to their website. This teacher does science, language arts, And
I asked myself,
people don't never use technology for what they should use it for. Just FYI.
Hey, thank you for saying that, ladies and gentlemen. Please stay off the Pornhub just long enough to find out what you need to find out. Man, look, I told somebody the other day, right, to go along with what we're talking about as far as keeping things right there. Look at him sleepy. Sleepy, I don't know. He like, my fault,
sleepy.
My fault. He looked like, nah, Rick, you sleepy and Daddy's sleepy, right? But no, so I was looking at this. Sorry, I was looking at this this web page, right? And I found myself in a weird, deep, dark spiral, right? You ever went to Pornhub and accidentally went just too far? You're on page 64, right? You're deep dived in. You ain't jacking nothing. You just happen to be there because you're bored. That was me the other day. But it all started with me trying to figure out how to replace a toilet seat. That's how it started.
Know, crazy. You didn't know how to replace a toilet seat?
No, I was just trying to make sure I had the right dimensions. So, you have a circular, you want to know if the elongated one works. So I'm looking that up. But then I realized that when I opened up my browser, I was still logged into Pornhub. I was like, I need to finish this. There you go. Here's what's very crazy. So I was like, my phone hadn't updated. So I'm in there. I'm like, I need to finish this video because this is I'm a third of the way through. I need to see this, right? So I stopped what I was doing thinking wise and played the video, but I was like, you know what? I do need to see more Rose Monroe. I haven't, I need to see a little bit more of that. So I started swiping through. I'm on page 64. I'm like, this is crazy. This is really crazy. I just kept kind of going through. I was like, oh, you know what? Boom. Tiana Trump and Rico Strong. Why not?
This
Then I just
guy,
kind of keep going.
this
And I was like,
dude,
what was I here for? Right. Now, if you end up finding yourself in that situation, I think a lot of us do as adults, you probably need to lay off the porn. Okay.
yeah.
Lay off the porn.
That's an addiction.
It's a problem. And look, ladies and gentlemen, if you watch porn, whatever, I don't care. But here at Ivy Knows Best, we're just going to tell you this. If you can't remember that changing a toilet seat is why you went to the internet and you end up on page 74 of Pornhub and you come across certain people in a certain demographic, because it saves what you normally look at. You know what I mean? So if you notice, like most of them, they say, so when you start seeing shit like, big booty woman takes BBC, nigga, okay, you've been there before, bro. You've been there 1,000 times. Like nobody populated that popped up. You got a problem, buddy. All right, you like bitches with big asses. That's what you into. Okay, or maybe you into the other side of it. I don't know, but all I know is this: you need to focus on what you were focusing on. Tap in, Jesus Christ.
Which is what? Toilet seats.
If that's what you went for, if you were trying to figure out how to change a tire, I don't know. But when you open your browser from the day before and porn pops up, guess what? You got a problem.
You don't use your private browser?
For what? Who gonna have my phone but me?
I mean, you might be what do you count the tragic event? They be like, we need your phone. Like, no. we gonna fucking die before you get this phone.
Hey man, I just need you to press the button, and if you press enter, you can get an SMS off. But wait, the scene is about to end. Boom!
This guy here.
Hey, you know what? You better be right with God. Hey, this mimosa isn't different in the morning. I swear to God. Hey, listen, ladies. Why don't y'all tell us about mimosas for real? This is a super strong.
This dude.
That's different. Ooh, that's sweet. But yeah, so yeah, man. Definitely that was crazy. But back to my friend. I know we kind of went a little left. So back to my friend.
Okay.
He ends up going and finding himself. I'm like, I want to talk to her parents. Listen, you better not talk to her dad. If you don't talk to anybody, you better tell her, hey, you better text it in a text message. I didn't know how old you were, and block her. So if she ever does try to go anywhere with this information, you got to wait. I mean, I make it seem like this, but you have a way of explaining what your actions were. You didn't know this was an 18-year-old senior in high school.
I'm sorry, buddy, but that wouldn't help neither.
That wouldn't fly. Why did you check her ID? So I said, look, bro, where was her parents at? Where was her parents? Where was her father and her mother? Because I'm telling you right now, if you told me you was 31 and you know my daughter who was 18 went to this school and was graduating, and you didn't see none of her stuff on social media, I'm not believing you, dog. I'm not. My next move is my best move. And it's probably the worst move for you. I'll make sure you don't walk the same. Straight up. But I didn't know. That's as a father, though. So the question is, do we hold our children responsible? Now, this is what I said now. This is important, parents out there. Hold your children responsible. Sons and daughters alike, especially when it's your first child, if you start holding your children responsible from the beginning, you can actually get, and I'm not even a parenting specialist. I'm just a motherfucker who had a bunch of kids. Okay, I got 4 children. And let me tell you something. I made a mistake with each and every one of them, even down to my son, who's the last one, the 4th one. He's 8 years old. Parenting mistakes are going to be made. But holding them accountable is the one thing I've always done. One day, one of my kids was like, "Well, Dad, I'm not doing too good at this subject." I looked at him and was like, "Okay, well, you ain't applying yourself."
Mm-hmm. I'm the
Well,
same way.
how do you know I don't understand it? Did you say you didn't understand it when you first came to me? No. Okay, so you're telling me you want to apply yourself.
It ain't just kids though. I think everybody need to hold whoever is responsible accountable. Everybody
But
play the blame game stuff.
But a lot of that starts because they don't start when they're younger. Think about this, right? Ladies, no offense, but it is what it is. Accountability is a hard thing for a lot of lady friends. A whole portion of people. And it's not all of y'all. Okay, because I know y'all all the exceptions to the rule, right? It's not all of y'all.
Okay, percentage. Because we gotta put you on the spot.
Got you. Let's go with 95 to 96% having accountability.
Man.
4% of y'all don't.
Ooh.
Can we all agree that a woman who is accountable 100% is rare? Agreeable? That's a rare woman. Amen. Amen, little baby. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody's like, all right, cool. Everybody in this room right now understands that, that's a rarity. A rare woman is a woman who's accountable like that. No offense, ladies, it just is what it is. I'm yet to hear a woman say, "I'm the reason why we broke up because I wanted to fuck with other niggas and I'm a hoe." Never hear it before. Just like I never hear dudes say, "Man, yeah, I cheated on her 6-7 times and she went on one day, so we broke up." That's not gonna happen. But the thing with that piece of accountability only exists until one of us, because another man will generally tell you, "Bro, nah, fuck that, you fucked up. It is what it is. You got to take that."
Mm-hmm.
I'm yet to see a female be like, "Nah, baby girl, you got to take that. You cheated and it is what it is." And that's a very rare thing. So let's go with the rarity. Let's just say 95. I'll be fair with y'all. 95% of women, in my experience, lack accountability. Okay, so out of that 95%, that started when you were younger. That started when you were a kid. That really did. It started when dad and mom said she's a female. She's a female, so I'm gonna treat her different. That's my baby girl. Manipulation for a woman, especially a young woman, is second to none. A young girl, the youngest daughter, knows how to manipulate everybody, especially the dad.
And they say that I was wrong when I said that there are way more female narcissists than men.
See, but you know why they say that though?
When they genetically coded to be narcissists.
No, that manipulation is on for a female. Bro, I swear to God. My daughter told me one day, "So you don't love me no more?" Just out the blue. So I found myself trying to prove to my soon-to-be 10-year-old daughter that I love her enough. Like what? Like wait. I legit had to step back. Like, why am I proving to the person that not only do I pay child support for, I buy shoes, clothes, and do all these different things for. I keep myself a job. I keep myself rolling. I keep all the money that I get, that I have coming in, flowing to the purpose of keeping this child alive. Why am I trying to prove to this person that I love them? Just off them saying something to me? Because that manipulation. That manipulation is second to none. Let my son be like, "Dad, do you love me?" "Yeah, bro." "Then why don't you show me?" "Fam, you know I love you. Chill out, nigga."
I know.
I ain't gotta walk up to you, but hey, Kush, we friends? We friends, Kush? Last time I checked, that's the last thing we had a conversation. Like, we had a cool conversation. We ain't never said we wasn't, so that's what the last thing I think we on. With the female, I watch female friendships be so different. It be deep. It'd be like almost like a lover's quarrel. That's how bad a female friendship is. "I don't like that bitch." "Why?" "Because I was telling about my problems and she blinked too slow." The bitch blinked slow. So y'all not friends because she blinks slow?
That's how they be for real too. They fall off over anything.
And then they be friends within a month. And you never knew about it. Last thing I knew was fuck Brittany, but now Brittany over at the crib. What the fuck is Brittany doing here? I hated that bitch, but we patched things up.
They forgive each other for everything.
We patched this thing because this bitch named Carla at work is the real hater.
She slept with my last 3 men, but she was a good friend though.
Yeah, yeah.
So I let her back in.
She shot at my baby daddy. She shot at my baby daddy. She helped me set that nigga up. Like, bro, man, look. I'm telling you, dog. You heard what that baby said. Yeah, he's telling y'all the truth right now. Mm-hmm. Sorry about that. Take a little sip of my mimosa.
He needs to figure out where he want to go. He acts like I ain't doing the show.
Hey, look, he said, hey, look, listen, you got to split your half for the show with him, bro. That's it. You know, when revenue split come out.
Well, now he don't want to say nothing. He want to get down with
super. Hey, Jax, the super villain. You know what I mean? Like, Jax, the super villain. But yeah, man. So like, when we start looking at that, I think accountability and accountability is the beginning of that. You know what I mean? Accountability is the beginning of that. And I think when people don't hold their children accountable, they grow up to be unaccountable adults. Straight up.
Yep.
And like I said, that starts a whole lot with the way that we treat, just talking about our daughters. We treat our daughters so preciously versus how we treat our sons, right? And mothers treat their sons so preciously as opposed to how they treat their daughters. All of us are really hands off when it comes to the same sex child. So like my son, I will admit to y'all, and I'm bad at this. I treat my son completely different than I treat my daughters.
Hey, I had this girl we was talking one time, we was texting, and she was like, "Cause I like a nigga to give me princess treatment." I said, "Oh, well, I like prince treatment." She gonna text back, "What is that?"
And there you go. There it is. Hey, you know why though? Because they're not taught that. All right. In order for you to treat a man that way, right, you have to learn that. For women, I believe you have to learn that, because a lot of the times inside the household, it's exactly what we're talking about. My son start crying, bro. Hey, cut that shit out, and I walk off. I'm about to pick you up. Dad, I'm upset. Oh, you man, nigga, get over that shit.
You gonna be all right.
Yeah, the older you get, you gonna have all type of shit you're not gonna like. You have all type of shit you're not gonna love. You have all type of shit you ain't gonna be able to rock with. All that. So when I'm raising you, I hate to seem like I'm a little mean or a little short with you, son. I'm just teaching you the way the world gonna treat you. The world not gonna love you for real. When you grow up and I'm 33, I can promise you right now, ain't nobody out there gonna give me money just because I'm alive. I was a father before going through a divorce. No home, no place to go. How many of y'all would pay me a dime? Nobody. You would tell me to get on my feet and figure it out, right?
Did you even give a fuck? Get a fuck out the deal?
Didn't even get a fuck out the deal. Not even one. Well, prior to it going that way, I had a few, but you know, once it went left, it went left. You know, but prior to that, wasn't nobody out here. I'll help you, Rick. You're okay with me. No, nobody was doing that, man. And I don't expect them to, because the world that we live in doesn't say, "Hey, Kush, you're a supervillain, right? We're gonna help you out because you're the bad guy." No, nigga, you the bad guy. You better figure that shit out. Now, imagine if you were a female villain. Imagine if supervillain Kush had a vagina. That shit would be so different. You would have so many people following you because you don't see so many women bad guys. And the ones you see are really like secondary characters, right? Like we could go with comic books. As y'all can see, I got comic book all over my wall back here, right? So I could be like, hey, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn. I mean, I can go on for days. Hella, all these different players are really secondary people. They're secondary. Yeah, baby boy, they're secondary. Yeah, tell it. Secondary characters, so that you don't see a whole lot of them being just like the top dog. So when you start seeing the top dogs be really, really, really like that, people get behind them quickly. Harley Quinn started off as a secondary character in the 90s off the TV show. She wasn't even written in the comic books up to the TV show. She was the Joker's girlfriend based off Batman the animated series. Yeah, how many women have dressed like Harley Quinn? You know how many times you've seen Harley Quinn really portrayed a whole lot now, cartoon series, the whole nine. Easy to get behind because you don't see a whole lot of badass females.
Did she ever get her own movie? You know, I ain't into that.
Oh yeah, she ended up getting that Birds of Prey movie and the Emancipation of Harley Quinn or something like that. Something to that.
Yeah.
You know, it's mainly a movie based off of her. But
When you be talking that to me, you be speaking like new history to me. I don't know nothing about none of them people.
hey, you know what's funny? I tell people all the time. I read the comic books before I even got into the movies, right? Because I grew up in the age group where you could read a comic book. You know what I mean? That was still a thing. Even though you came up in that same age, you probably was just busy doing some other shit. You know what I mean? It's just like what it is. You're probably just doing some other shit. But you know, for those of us who had opportunities to not only come, you know, watch Dragon Ball Z at 4:30 and wait for Goku to scream for 30 minutes before he changed hair colors. We also had the ability to before that on Toonami read, you know, when Sailor Moon and all them is on to kind of go through your comic books a little bit. You know what I mean? So
Hey, how was Goku the strongest fighter ever and he died more times than anybody?
I like the sidebar. I don't know. I could say like as much as I've watched anime, and I know a lot of people out there like, what the fuck are they talking about? Wherever the fuck we want. How's that sound? You're here watching, just fucking watch. Okay, thank you for
Everybody
watching.
know who I feel like Goku is like one of those names that everybody know, even if
He's anime Superman. Yeah, he's the Superman of anime. He's that one character that across the board, when you watch or you watch his series or watch his growth and development, that nigga is OP as a motherfucker. Not only is he OP, his story, the whole story is based around him every time.
Mm-hmm.
But we've seen him get wins in the series that he don't deserve to have. Like okay, he beat Frieza, right?
I mean, he had to tag his son in to beat Cell. And his son had a broken arm when he beat Cell.
One arm in that piece. One arm Kamehameha out of hell.
But he gets so much credit.
That's because it's who he is as a character, man. He's a glory hog. That's why, you know, and I love Vegeta. Vegeta's one of my favorites. For all those who don't know what we're talking about, go watch Dragon Ball Z, you know.
That's
or
my
Dragon
guy.
Ball, whatever the case. I love him as a character, but I think a lot of people disrespect Vegeta and steal his character, steal his wins. Like, I don't know why in the Golden Frieza situation why they took that win from him. He was beating Frieza's ass finally. That would have been the crescendo of what he was looking for outside of him surpassing Goku in some way.
Yeah, killing Frieza.
Killing Frieza would have been that, and then we would have been like, "Fuck." But now they've made
he destroyed his namesake planet. Like, come on now.
And then on top of when he was beating Frieza's ass, boy. Bow, bow, bow. Whole lot of one-sided traffic. But they stole that from him.
Yeah, and they really be forgetting too that Saiyans are Vegeta's people.
Yeah.
By rights.
Yeah. And I says he's a prodigy, right? Even with the fight against I know we're verging into a different territory for some people, but even in the series, when you watch Dragon Ball Z, you can see when he's fighting against Broly in the when they made the movie canon. Before the movie was canon, it took everybody to give Goku their power to have him beat Broly, right? Everybody, right? Everybody had to help that nigga. Same thing when he became a Super Saiyan God. He had to go through the Saiyan ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Vegeta didn't go through a Saiyan ritual. He had to do it the hard way. That's number one. Number two, when they remade the movie canon, when he started fighting Broly, he was fighting Broly at the beginning. He was whooping Broly ass a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, he was giving Broly everything he won. But then he stepped off to allow Kakarot to get in, which he didn't have to do, but he just chose to do. But then they're like, okay, well, hey, then you looking at him versus Frieza. It's like he was trying to kill Frieza. He's like, hey, man, don't resurrect. You know, they gone. And they stole that from him. Like I just don't understand it, but that's just Goku's the most OP'd or overpowered person. That's what it is. We stuck with
well.
anime
He's John
Superman, right?
Cena.
Or yeah, yeah. That's a good way. That's a good way of understanding it. He is legitimately a person that we can't see in
Or
real
can't
life. You know what I
stand
mean?
after a while.
Those are your only two choices. Anytime, look, look, when you and just add this to a little bit of a reality outside of those two spectrums. You know when you are doing way too good in life is when everybody hates you for nothing.
Well,
Oh
I
man,
don't know.
I'm
I think it.
I'm
I
feeding
think
my.
in.
Go ahead.
Nah, I think in John Cena faces because one person tried to shove him down our throats for so long.
What's the alternative though? Who was the star in alternatively speaking?
Anybody.
I mean, during this time, you had what? Let's take a deep dive into our wrestling category, shall we? Um, we had in
Look,
this time we
he
had
came up in the ruthless aggression era. You had Batista, Undertaker was still around, Randy Orton, Triple H was still around.
and all of them had
Um,
runs. They all had runs, and they all had
they
rivalries
didn't
with him.
they didn't have 18-year runs.
Well, the Undertaker did. Undertaker had 30
No,
plus
but
years
see,
of doing.
the Undertaker went from a run to like just a mystical figure type. He wasn't
Mm,
like he. I had 4 matches a year. You know, John Cena was like the champion 370 days out of the 365-day year.
hmm And you know
Like
what
I
though?
remember. Look, I remember that Raw when Rey Mysterio won the WWE Championship. You remember that Raw? It
I
was
do
like the
remember
first
that. And
match they
it
kicked off. How did that
took it
Raw
right off.
end?
Took it right off. Put it right on Cena. Yeah, and I see that. And this is why I said I'm not mad at. I wasn't mad at wrestling when I saw that. Right, I wasn't mad at them doing that change, other than the fact that I was upset that they did it so quickly. They just was like, they could have like waited to a pay per view, whatever, and they would have gotten it done. But here's why I don't blame John Cena. We saw JBL have the most boring run of all time. Can we be honest, real quick?
Me,
JB, JB,
me
JBL's
as a
run.
person who loves heels. I think JBL had a great run. I think that child motherfuckers just didn't know. Bro, his Eddie Guerrero sickness was phenomenal. What are you talking about?
Here's why I'm saying. Here's why I'm saying no.
I can't even repeat some of the stuff that he said, but they were phenomenal.
No, I'm gonna say no for two reasons. Right, two reasons. A, there was nobody to supplant him at that time. Triple H, hiatus, or doing something completely different on a different show with another faction. Batista locked into that war with Triple H and or a part of that faction. Randy Orton, same story. Undertaker in and out, obviously going from the American Badass back to the Dead Man. Rey Mysterio almost almost about his time to be a full time player like we knew it. The Big Show was just the Big Show, almost a novelty at that point. And then when we start talking Eddie Guerrero, God rest his soul, Eddie Guerrero was the only person that we had that could challenge his reign until John Cena came about that we would have believed as a believable champion. So he really ran some really subpar programs. Like even when he did a program with HBK, I hated it. Hated it. Not maybe it was just the fact that he was that good at what he was doing. Maybe how he was doing it was so good.
That's what it is. I'm telling you,
But
JBL was owed to something. And then you
like
probably hated you probably hated the arrogant rich white guy too.
might have played a part of it because I was kind of like, you know what, someone needs to beat this bitch. Like I'm sick of him. Like I ain't gonna
And
lie, I do
the
what I did
stuff
like
that
about
he would
JBL.
actually say too.
Yeah, JBL was an asshole, but I think some of the best shit in the world, and this is just me, right? Stone Cold Steve Austin and Eric Bischoff was going around that time. Stone Cold wasn't a full time wrestler at that time. The Rock became a heel, doing his thing. Goldberg was on the other side. Like everybody on Raw, right, was really doing like Raw was getting a whole big push, right? But then when we went back to SmackDown, we had JB. Think about this. JBL, who as a single competitor up until a random point was non-existent. He was an APA member, a member of the Acolytes. The Acolytes, a part of the Ministry of Darkness, and that was it. That's all we knew. That's all we had from JBL. So out the blue, this guy gets a shot. This guy becomes champ. Then what? Then he has this run that's legitimately retarded, and he's buying people. He was the Happy Corbin of his time.
Let's fast forward. So how do you feel about it? Since that's your reason, how do you feel about the Jinder Mahal run?
Even worse. Even worse. It's probably the worst WWE Championship run of all time.
Okay? Hey, the entrance that he made after he won it, though, that was nice. That was the best thing about his whole run.
I think WWE took it too far trying to introduce Indian. No offense, that had nothing to do with his race, but slapping the championship on an Indian race, an Indian-born wrestler, right, to influence the Indian market, as opposed to building him as a star and then putting the title on.
If you're WWE, it was about race because they were getting ready for that tour of India.
Well, yeah, but can we be honest right quick? The rest of us didn't care.
Yeah, we didn't care. What's the population over there? We finna tour over here. We finna tour over here. Let's slap this championship on Jinder, and they gonna buy all this merch up and everything else and sell out. And then as soon as that tour,
you could have gotten the same effect though when you really kind of think. Let's think about it right quick, business wise. You could have gotten the same effect off of Jinder, building him up as a big time star. So with or without the title, right? You could have gotten him a whole bunch of key wins. Royal Rumble, you could have gotten him a whole bunch of stuff leading up to that point that put him directly in line, right? As soon as you would have done that, guess what would have happened? He would have been obviously he's the biggest star at that point. You smack the title on him during your time there, then you're good. You just can't play that game so closely as they did. They just legitimately went from one thing to another and just smacked the title on.
Then they made it so obvious because they I think AJ Styles challenged him on SmackDown and won it that night, the Sunday right before Survivor Series.
Yeah, so that lets you know how they really felt about him. They could have legitimately, right, prior to all that, had a year run of making Jinder Mahal the same thing they made what's that Scottish motherfucking name?
Sheamus.
No, he's Irish, the Scottish dude with the Claymore kick. Drew McIntyre.
Oh, Drew.
You could have done the same thing with him that you did with Drew. You could have legitimately programmed him correctly to the point where there was no choice. Now, granted, for everybody who out there's like, what the fuck are they talking about? Wrestling. Okay? We didn't went from parenting to wrestling. All right. So needless to say, that could have happened and you would have gotten the same effect out of him. Probably even a better effect. Because now you would have had a way of using him even after the fact. Because what happened after you took the title off of him? He went back to mid-carding. In dark.
Shit, he went from I was gonna say he wasn't even getting TV time for a long time.
Yeah, so the best thing, next thing you know, he's gonna pop up in a segment. Having what's akin to Jericho's highlight reel. Just some old random ass that you had to use to fill time. No offense to that, because Jericho's highlight reel was amazing after a while. But look, guys, that's our show for the day. To be honest with you, this parenting thing obviously is a need, and also the wrestling talk and the anime talk is for that community as well. So, see, you can come up with Ivy Knows Best. You can have any conversation you want to have. We'll have it with you.
Prayers to all these parents too, by the way.
Get a little bit closer on that.
Prayers to all those parents, man, going through that, man.
Yeah.
Gotta stop.
So yeah, all those people, and if y'all listen to our last show that we did, that just dropped on Wednesday or Thursday, definitely, we do want to send out our condolences to all those parents, because obviously we're talking about parenting and how important parenting is. Those children who lost their lives in those tragedies. Let's just, for any tragedy at that, not just one, any tragedy. We do pray for y'all. We hope that you find peace in this time, and hopefully, God is as good as we believe Him to be, and He gives you the peace that you need. You know what I mean? So, but other than that, God bless everybody. All right, y'all stay safe out there as always, and just remember, man, if you're a young parent, bro, trial and error, bro. You can never get it right. You can just get it better than you got it yesterday. That's the only thing you can hope for, right? So, as always, for the supervillain Kush and the lavish Lord Rick himself, I want to thank y'all for showing up. Also, wait a minute, and shout out to Conversations in Kush. Shout out to that podcast. That podcast is I've heard some things. You know what I mean? So shout out to them.
This
They're
guy.
dropping really soon. They're dropping really soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think their host
Hope.
is their host is cold. I like that name. He cool. What's that host name again?
We got
What's
that super villain guy.
Yeah, some super villain Kush or something weird. So for all those smokers,
he'll start making his way.
Yeah, it's coming. It's some real sweet shit. They got a cool ass interest music, the whole nine. You know what I mean? Like, so hopefully we can get the whole cast on over here so we can talk to them once in a while. You know what I mean?
You already know that's gonna happen. We got the same parent company.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who would have thought that? Hey, otherwise, man, look, it's Ivy Knows Best. Hey, by the way, shout out to all the ladies from there on the show. They're all obviously handling different things. To Nicole, get better. Christy, God bless you, safe in your travels. And to Kim, make sure you enjoy yourself at church today, okay? Because she had to go get some Lord in her life after the last two conversations we had with her on the show. She went back to God, ladies and gentlemen. But there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that. So shout out to Kim, okay? But other than that, man, look, we love y'all. It's Ivy Knows Best as always. Hey, man, y'all stay lavish. Sip y'all mimosas today. Happy Memorial Day. I've been drinking too much today. I apologize. Happy Memorial Day to everybody, okay? And if you got kids, love your children, man. Love your children. Take care of your children. As always, it's Ivy Knows Best.